This is an AMI drive, sticking next to AMI controller or some cable attached to said controller, and assuming you have a terminal also attached, you can now see and interact with a vast storage system with a search engine to boot. Except not really, for that you also need storage cells. Storage cells come in a variety of flavors and sizes, and these follow store the item or other as bytes. When an item is added to the system, it takes up an initial cost of bytes as a type, and subsequent additions of said item will only take up an eighth of a byte. The upfront cost of the item types is roughly 0.8%, or such that 63 types take up half of the cell's capacity. Types, as you may have already suspected, restrict the number of item species that can be in a cell. For example, if I have a cell filled with 63 kinds of ingots, and I deposit a block of dirt into my system, it will go to adjacent cells rather than an ingot-filled one, even if it is not full of data. Because of this, it is generally better to use smaller cells rather than larger ones, as size only affects the capacity of the 63 kinds of items in a cell, unless you produce an extreme amount of said items. Another nifty feature of cells is partitioning. Take a cell, stick it in a cell workbench, and now you can modify its types. They allocate a storage for each of said types, and even allow them to avoid excess items so they don't clog other cells. This allows them to be quite space efficient, at least compared to regular chest and other modern storage. But if you must, you can also connect said storages to the system via storage buses. Simply stick them on whatever you need, and now you can regularly interact between said storage and the ME system. If you use both cells and other storage, you can also prioritize which items go to which kind of storage, allowing for quite sophisticated systems. Now, while easy-to-use storage systems are nice, if AE2 were only that, then other mods that allow for storage search would be used more often than it. No, you won't use it just for storage, you'll also use it for automation. There are two parts of automation to break down: the information of the craft, and the thing that does the crafting, aka the machines. Crafting storage controls the amount of items used in the craft as well as the complexity it can achieve, while crafting coprocessors handle the amount of recipes that can run at the same time. Stick them together in any way that is of equal length on each parallel side, and you have yourself a crafting CPU, allowing you to handle all crafting. While it's generally a good idea to use the same amount of coprocessors as storage components, any ratio works, including just one storage component. As for the actual crafters, there are two kinds. The first is for your instantaneous crafts, e.g. your crafting table, smithing table, etc. AE2 adds a molecular assembler for all those recipes. Simply stick it next to some pattern providers, or just ME interfaces if you're playing in an earlier version, and connect them to the system to allow the active automation of the crafting recipes. Speaking of patterns, these are what actually encode your recipes to be used by machines as instructed by the, aptly named, pattern encoding terminal. Using blank patterns, crafting table recipes will just use their standard materials and pattern to be encoded. For most other kinds of recipes, you will use process crafting, which won't follow a strict recipe, and the inputs and outputs will need to be specified manually, or by whatever flavor of GAI you're using. Process crafting is used for recipes that typically require time to do, such as furnace and other kinds of magic box, Tecmon machines, and these can be actively automated by also sticking them next to the pattern provider, as it inserts its ingredients when requested, and the machines can be routed to output its bread back into the pattern provider or ME interface. There's also a way to make this process passive, using crafting cards, and there's a very simple way to set it up. Don't! We're done? Well, I'll say I'm done. If I missed anything, be sure to type in the comments the X's and Y's and Z's I missed, or tell me how I'm actually stupid or whatever. Alternatively, just watch someone else's video if you need a more thorough explanation. Or, just test it yourself. Okay, bye.